Recently, I asked myself if I could make a 5e Warlock in Skyrim, and the results turned out rather well. If you want to see more, you can take a look at the I Played Skyrim as a Warlock video, or the hand-in-hand video for making a prettier Warlock. Parts of those videos are going to be included in today's episode of Top 5 Mods for Warlocks. Now, if you guys have any other suggestions that you think should make this list, do leave them down below, as I'm always looking for more mods, and if I get a good suggestion from you guys, I just may make a part 2. Now, with that being said, let's start at the very beginning. For a Warlock, it is the Marshal of Spellcasters, and it uses one primary slaughtering tool. That's going to be Eldritch Blast. You can get this from Triumvirate, which is a spell pack that gives you a plethora of some of the funnest spells I think I've ever used in Skyrim. The Warlock rendition is going to give you Eldritch Blast coupled with a few other things that will be related to summons. Essentially, the way this works is you kill something with Eldritch Blast and you will bind a spirit. You can then use that spirit bind to do additional summons. Now in my case, I don't give a shit about any of that, I just want to use Eldritch Blast. So, what winds up happening is I kill things with Eldritch Blast, and then my hands glow, which really aids the Warlock aesthetic, and I'm a big fan of it. Now, other fun spells from this mod pack are things like Ghost Walk, which allows you to go invisible, walk a set distance, and then snap back immediately. Now, I don't have any footage of it anymore, but I did once play a rogue that ran around with Ghost Walk and cut people's throats to immediately snap teleport back. So do with that information what you will. Moving into our second mod, I'm going to highly suggest going for Sacrosanct, or some sort of vampire overhaul. The main reason that I say to go for this one is because it gives access to World of Warcraft style Warlock curses. That's what I was trying to create anyways. I was thinking Eldritch Blast in one hand, Curse of Agony in the other, right? Simple enough, sort of melds everything together. So, the reason I say Sacrosanct is it gives you access to Bloodseed, which is a projectile damage over time effect that can stack multiple times. And of course, it also gives you access to just every vampire ability under the sun, pun intended, because it turns you into a modified vampire lord that then can get a bunch of perks. Now, I haven't fully fleshed out the skill trees and everything, but you can get access to destruction magic damage, you can get access to blood potions, you can get infinite scaling as well, because it makes it so when you drain someone and feed on them and kill them, basically, you get 1 HP, 1 magicka, and 1 stamina. So if you can play a sneaky enough character, you can just amp your stats by draining everyone to death. I've done that too, big fan of that. There's also Wicked Wind, which is one of the perks you can get that lets you teleport around and do fancy stuff. And my personal favorite, I wasn't the biggest fan of being a vampire in the first place. I had a bit of a internal monologue battle of if I should even deal with it and put up with all the whole feeding bullshit. But there's a really cool thing that this adds called Vampire's Command or Vampire's Will, which lets you just choose a target, and if they're under level 10, allows you to feed on them. Although I did find it to be a little bit buggy, as Grandma kind of watched me feed on her daughter, and I don't know if she was into it or not. So use it at your own discretion, but I would also highly suggest pairing this with a mod that just turns off sunlight damage, because if you want to call me a bitch, sure, but I am not going to play around nighttime and all this, especially when my Skyrim's as dark as it is. Download a mod that makes it so you can walk in the sun. Just become a daywalker already, it's that much easier. Moving into number 3, you can't be a warlock or a witch without a cat. And this time, it's not Inigo, it's just cats. This is going to be Cat's Life. This is one of the mods that I've been a very big fan of. It will add 2 shops to Skyrim, one outside of Whiterun and one outside of Riften, that will sell you cats. You can then also persuade cats that you find on the street to be able to pet them, and eventually, once you raise your reputation enough with specific cats, you can acquire them as house cats. I haven't gotten to that point just yet, but I really, really hope I can bring the blue one in Solitude back to the Dragonborn Gallery with me. Maybe he can jump around on my enchanting tables and do some cute shit, who knows. Moving into number 4, we have witchy hats. This is self-explanatory. This is kind of a requirement for any kind of wizard, warlock sort of ordeal. With this, you're going to want to make sure you get the faster SMP, as well as the faster SMP version of the hat to allow the top of it to bounce. Now, this isn't required, obviously, but it does add that little bit of extra flair and immersion and realism to it, even if it's just slightly bouncing. I went for the bigger hats version, because when you install it, there's a smaller and bigger version. I would suggest, if you're gonna go for it, just go all out. Might as well. The hats come in all the colors you could ever imagine, so you can pair it with any of your favorite spellcasting armor mods. And speaking of spellcasting armor mods, we're going to come to our final mod for the list, which is going to be the DX armors. Now, DX Deserter is one of my personal favorite mod creators, aside from the fact he makes UNP outfits, which is a massive pain in my ass because I have to backwards convert all of them. He makes some very, very high quality outfits, especially when it comes to spellcasters. Now, some of them, I'll be honest, are a little bit degenerate, but if you can look past that, you'll get something spectacular underneath. These are all compartmentalized piecemeal outfits as well, so you can take certain pieces from certain outfits and mix and match them all across the board. Combine this with things like bandolier for the vials and what have you, a vial belt, vial pouches, and you get this sort of dark witchy alchemist atmosphere. You combine this with the hat and the Eldritch Blast, and you see how you kind of wind up with my character. Now, I would also suggest getting the Soteta Necromancer, as well as, I believe it's called the Black Necromancer, is the one that I'm wearing currently. The sets require you to pick up a couple of things lying around the map. You'll find one piece of the set in Anis's cabin, and the other piece in the Hall of the Dead in Solitude. These are required that you hold them while you craft them, which is a little bit weird, but you work with what you got. These come in different colors as well. The Black Necromancer robes, or just the Necromancer robes in general, come in black, white, blue, purple, and red, if I remember correctly, or green, something along those lines. And then the Soteta outfit comes in one color, and they all also come pre-enchanted if you want to just make yourself that much more powerful. Minor honorable mention as well to Terra Armors. This is one of my personal favorite outfit sets, rather, that covers everything in the game. It gives you clothing, light armor, medium armor, heavy armor, the whole shebang. So I would highly suggest picking that one up as well. If you have any other mod suggestions for Warlocks, do let me know them down below, as I am always looking for more mods. I would highly suggest using Strange Runes as well as a final honorable mention, but that thing does not want to work for me anymore, and it's a massive disappointment. But yeah, thank you guys very much for listening. I hope this helped you, and I hope I upped your style game, or your mod game, just a little bit. Thank you guys for listening, and as always, take care.